Roll call, Mr. Suzanne. I haven't seen Mr. Shakes now. You can't hear me?
They're not on.
Test.
Testing.
That's all that. Okay. Ms. Suzanne, let the record reflect Mr. Shakes Snyder's absent. I did see Mr. Thomas somewhere. And Mr. Barriger is out.
You're right.
Let's be nice. All right, I don't have any two-thirds chair's agenda.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Woodrow Road.
what do you want?
Emergency. We need 2/3 on it. Mr. Rue has something to present to the council.
Was that presented to Ms. Suzanne in a timely fashion as far as bringing it up? When did this come up, Mr. Thompson?
It came up this week. If we don't get it passed, we're going to float the contractor down.
Mr. Bill Rue. Mr. Bill Rue. No, that's somebody else.
There he is.
Mr. Thompson's asking for 2/3 on an issue on Boudreaux Road. What's the urgency?
The contractor is if we're going to do it, he needs to do it now because it's actually raised road, and he's completing the ditches. In fact, for another couple of days, and the ditches will be completed. He'll start tearing up the road, scarifying the road, and doing road work. And he needs to put do this before he starts scarifying the road surface. And limestone has to be put in, it has to be compacted down and leveled off. So it just would stall the progress of this project if we wait 2 or 3 weeks.
Mr. Chairman, motion to put it on the agenda.
So we would appreciate to be able to move forward fast. He could actually get on doing this particular part of the project next week.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President, was you aware of this having to come up?
Well, I was not. I mean, I was aware of the problem I'm dealing with. I was not aware that we were going to have to
Okay.
Mr. Chairman Salvo.
Mr. Valentine.
We do have an out. There can be a meeting of the executive committee that could be called to make a decision on this. If you want to stay pro the rules that we adopted a couple of weeks ago again, or reinforced, that could aid the contract on Boudreaux Road. That's what the executive committee is for.
Is everybody with it okay with it going to the executive committee that before it
Well,
still possibly move forward, not hold up the project? Mr. Hillingsbeck.
Yeah, I agree with what Mr. Valentine says, but we're here tonight as a council, Jordan. I think we just go ahead and we can all address this, and put it on the agenda. It sounds like a pending emergency, and I think it meets the criteria. So I mean, you make a good point, but that's for executive committee to meet prior to the meeting, and so we're here. So I think we'll go forward with it. Put it on the agenda.
There's a motion by Mr. Hillingsbeck to put it on the agenda, 2/3 to add Boudreaux Road issue to the agenda. Do I hear a second?
I seconded that motion,
Second by
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
McConnell. Any opposition to the motion? Having none. One objection. Ms. Fontenot. Motion passes. We'll put it on under the Transportation Committee on B. All right, any more? Anyone wishing to speak on any of the agenda items, please sign a speaker card and turn it in to Ms. Suzanne. Number 5, presentations. A resolution thanking Louisiana Rural Water Association. Patrick, help me with that, Mr. Hillingsbeck.
It's Patrick Crater.
Crater, Executive Director and Field Technician Mike Gonzalez for the smoke test conducted by LRW8 March 16, 2005 on the Rhonda Place subdivision. Councilman Doug Hillingsbeck.
I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Betty Robert, and and let Betty read the resolution, if she would, please. Public Information Officer. Here you go, Betty. I've got a copy of it if you need it. Yeah. I think you're reading it. You know, before she reads this, I just, again, would like to thank Louisiana Rural Water Association for the smoke test they conducted. We've had an ongoing problem in Rhonda Place for, I guess, from 15 years. I used to live in Rhonda Place myself, and we now know what the situation is. We know what the where the breaks are. We know who are responsible. DHH is involved. They're meeting with the owner of the system, and maybe after 15 years, thanks to Louisiana Rural Water, we're going to be able to rectify the problems and move forward. I'll turn it over to Betty.
Okay. State of Louisiana, Parish of Ascension Resolution. Whereas residents of Rhonda Place Subdivision, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, for many years were experiencing water inflow and infiltration, I&I, with their neighborhood sewer systems following heavy rains, making their commodes inoperable. And whereas Ascension Parish Councilman Doug Hillinsbeck had the presence of mind and willingness to assist these residents and contacted the Louisiana Rural Water Association and the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals, and whereas Patrick Crater, Executive Director of LRWA, arranged for an energy technician with appropriate staff, scheduled and conducted a smoke test evaluation of the entire Rhonda Place sewer system, identifying 28 breaks and problems areas in the system, and forwarded the results in a report to Councilman Hillinsbeck, the Ascension Parish Council, and the Department of Health and Hospitals. And whereas, with the long existing problems having been clearly identified, the Department of Health and Hospitals has conducted a review and follow-up meeting with the owner of the sewer system, and a timeline for much needed repairs has been established. Therefore, be it resolved, the Ascension Parish Council, its Utilities Committee, and especially Councilman Doug Hillinsbeck, on behalf of the residents of Rhonda Place Subdivision, expresses great appreciation of the Louisiana Water Association Executive Director Patrick Crater and the LRWA Energy Technician Mike Gonzalez and their staff. Resolution presented on this day, June 2nd, 2005.
Moved by Mr. Hillinsbeck. Second by Mr. Thomas. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
And number 6, Parish President's Report. Louisiana Community Development Block Grant. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Suzanne, would you make sure that mic is on at that podium there so speakers won't have to fool with it? Going to be 2 things on my report tonight. I'm not going to really say much at all. I know you guys are grateful for that. We have one we listed, Community Development Block Grant. Mr. Roberto Mercedo is going to give us a quick update on the awarding of that project. All of you received a letter that the governor sent to us, I think, last week. So, Roberto, and following this, we have another brief presentation by Mr. Doug Thornton from SMG to give you an update on the transition, what's been taking place there, some of the activities that have been successful in booking. So, Mr. Mercedo.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, you all of it. Quick handout. Take only a minute of your time.
Thank you, sir.
As the President just mentioned, Governor Blanco has announced that the Parish of Ascension will be awarded, or has been awarded, a grant in the amount of $983,670 for a new sewer system for the community of Hillerville. The parish submitted an application for this project back in November of 2003, and has been successful in receiving the funding. I should note that for this particular activity of sewer improvements, There were 62 applicants statewide, and the application for Ascension Parish came in number 2. Only 11 grants out of the 62 applicants were approved. The actual ranking of these grants is attached to this brief report. Concerning other LCDBG projects, as you know, the community of Darrow is under construction with a new sewer project, new sewer system, again, with a grant from the LCDBG office in the amount of $1 million and contribution or input from the parish in the amount of approximately $800,000. This project is underway and on schedule and is anticipated for completion in early 2006. Other previous LCDBG projects administered by my office have been completed, and that included the $600,000 for the Modest Water Project, as well as the $1 million sewer project for the community of Traderland. The state of Louisiana will be entertaining new applications for new projects at the end of this year, November, December of 2005, for funding in 2006 and 2007. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Roberto. Any of you have questions for Peter Roberto?
I just had a question on the Darrow project. You said it's on schedule. Is it scheduled to be finished before November 15th?
The contract is through, I believe the completion date is sometime in January of 2006. The contractor insists that there will be ahead of the time, but it just remains to be seen. Now, irregardless of whether the Darrow project is finished, the parish should apply in November of 2006 for future grants. If they do not apply, then you will not be considered.
We can apply in November,
Correct.
but can we be considered if we don't make the November 15th deadline?
No, you would not be considered for a 2006 funding. It would have to be for a 2007 funding.
Yeah, and I just think that's important. We need to know that right now so we can do whatever we need to do to complete that by that time, because if not, we may lose out on possibly $1 million
Sure,
for that next year. And a month or two of time, I just think whatever we need to do to speed that project up, we need to start doing that right now.
Right. The engineers on this project have monthly meetings, and of course, we have one drawback. Since it's a project that is close to the river, we're subject to the requirements of the Corps of Engineers. But,
But that's past us now.
right. But we will do our best to finish the project so the parish will be in line for funding.
If there's anything that we can possibly do to help speed it up, just let us know ahead of time
Okay.
to make sure we get this thing.
Sure. One way would be requesting the contractor to put an additional crew. That could be a possibility.
Please inform us of some options before we get too late, that this thing won't get too expensive. Because we have an opportunity to get $1 million of federal money that we're losing out.
Thank you. Good point. And just add this, one of the problems there, if you recall earlier on in the spring, the river level was very high, and so we were not able, the contractor was not able to work because of the water level in the Mississippi River. So they had to wait for that to subside in order to do that digging before permits and all. So that's been part of it. I was out there last week, the week before, and said the water levels are fine now. We've got the project moving on very well. Thank you, Roberto.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Mr. Roberto, so in November of this year, we still could apply,
Yes, sir. Yes.
okay? And we would know about the funding for 207 and 206.
Well, in the worst of cases, what you would have is 2 ongoing projects. The Darrow project that is contract is supposed to go through the end of the year, and you will have the Hillerville project also ongoing. So you will have 2 projects underway. The state says that in order to receive at least 1 grant, you have to finish at least 1 project. So in the best of cases, the parish could apply for 2 projects in November and get 1 funded for 2006, providing that you finish the Darrow project prior to November.
Is there any way you can meet with the engineers and the contractors and try to request that we try to have this project completed by November?
Definitely, yes. Mr. Bill Rube, we've met with the contractor and the engineers, like I said, on a regular basis, and we will make a suggestion. The only way to speed it up is by having either another crew or more personnel.
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Chair.
I think it needs to be understood, and Mr. Roberto can expand on it. It's not actually finishing the project in November. It's actually, we need to complete the project, maybe a couple months before November, to get all the paperwork, get everything done. How's that work?
Right. In order to close the Darrow project, the state has to have in their hands what is called a clear lien certificate, meaning the project has been completed, the 45-day lien period has been is passed, and all the payments have been made. So this definitely is pushing the schedule further back. And the contractor keeps insisting that he can do it. The engineers, they have experience on this. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but nevertheless, we'll take your recommendation to make sure that we can speed it up as much as possible.
And Mr. Rue have scheduled a utility meeting for Wednesday.
And that's on the agenda, and we're going to send it out. That's a note Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And that's part of the agenda item to talk about the Darrow project.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Hildenbeck?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to thank Mr. Maceda for his work, and also, I know Councilman Thompson, this is your area, right? Adrian, I know you've been working on this for some time, and I'd like to commend you all on your efforts, and I think it'd be wise to maybe send a resolution thanking the governor for this almost $1 million that we're getting, and I'd like to offer a motion to this council.
Motion by Mr. Hildenbeck, second by Mr. Thompson to send a resolution to the governor thanking her for the...
In fact, Adrian, you want to make the motion, I'll make the second.
Motion.
You got that, Ms. Suzanne? Send a thank you to Governor Blanco for her generous givings. All right. Anyone else? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. All right. Anyone else has any questions, Ms. Mosetta? Thank you, Ms. Mosetta.
Thank you.
Mr. President, members of the council, we've been on the job, actually, I guess, about a month now, and I'm pleased to report things are going well. We're actually, as you know, we're in a transition phase right now at Lamar-Dixon. We actually don't have our management contract signed yet, where it's all pending the bond commission approval, of course, later this month. But in the meantime, we're acting as your agent, acting on behalf of the parish as your agent to supervise the existing foundation employees and to supervise the operation out there on your behalf. Let me just give you an overview of what we've accomplished in about a month's time. Number one, we have assembled a transition team that's been in the facility now for quite a while. We've got one of our employees that's spending 2 or 3 days a week there, and 2 of our other employees from New Orleans who have been working very closely with Flo and the staff to book the facility. We have made it a priority to make sure that we've contacted all of the existing clients, people that have booked at Lamar-Dixon in the past, and those that are prospective clients. We have been able to secure a number of the bookings from the folks that have booked in the past, most notably the Oktoberfest, the Swamp Pop Fest, of course, the LSU Livestock Show. We've reached out to all of these groups that have traditionally held their events at Lamar-Dixon, and so far we've received a very positive response. We've actually had a chance to meet with all of the existing clients. With regard to the employees, we had our Human Resources department come down from Philadelphia this week. We actually had a transition meeting there this past Tuesday. We were able to meet with all of the employees and orient them as to the SMG benefits and the employment plan. And we'll be meeting individually with those employees over the next few weeks in anticipation of the takeover date. We still anticipate being able to take over the operation on your behalf on or around January 17th. I guess that's the day of the Bond Commission meeting. June 18th. At that time, we envision, transferring the operatorship of the property to the parish, to SMG, from the foundation. And I know there's been some budgets back and forth for that partial month, for the month of June. We're working with the foundation and with the parish on those expenses and how those would be transitioned. We're also working to establish a cash flow budget. We should have that prepared in the next couple of days that will reflect the anticipated expenses that we're going to encounter, that we think that we'll encounter between now and the end of the year. I think there's going to be some savings. Just my initial look at it yesterday, I think there's going to be some savings off of the initial budget that we had forecasted for you when we were in the management proposal phase. So that's good news. I think we'll also realize some additional revenue over what we projected. And remember, the facility was somewhat dormant this spring in terms of the bookings because they weren't sure what they were going to be doing later this year. So in all, I think it looks pretty good from a financial standpoint right now. In terms of some of the bookings, I just want to mention a couple of things that are fairly significant. One is this Louisiana High School Rodeo Finals. We were, asked to consider putting a bid in for this event a few weeks ago, and it was right after the time that SMG was awarded the contract, and I talked to Flo about it, and we weren't sure if we were going to have enough time to actually respond to the bid. Well, we got an extension. We called the folks with the High School Rodeo Association, got an extension for 10 days, worked with the parish in assembling a bid package together, and presented that bid. Flo presented that bid on our behalf Tuesday night with Michael Gay from our SMG staff in New Orleans, presented that in Lafayette this Tuesday night, and we got it. So we're going to host the Louisiana High School Rodeo Finals next June. It's a 7-day event. We really wanted to go after this for a couple of different reasons. We'll make a little bit of, the facility will make a little bit of money on the event, but more importantly, the parish will benefit because you'll have a lot of these folks coming to Ascension Parish from around the state for a 7-day rodeo event, staying in the hotels. Some will stay on the grounds there in the RV park, but the most important thing about it is it's going to get it's re-imaging the building and re-imaging the facility that we talked about during our management proposal. So that's a significant first step, we think, in reaching out to people from across the state. So that was a little piece of good news that happened this week. We were also successful in moving an event called the Moscow Circus from it's an organization that we deal with within the SMG ranks around the country. They have confirmed for October. It's a 1-day show in October. I mentioned the other events that have traditionally been held at the facility. Those, like I said, we've met with them. They're confirmed. We're working on rental adjustments and things of that nature, but so far everybody has been very cooperative. Some of the bigger things that we're working on right now, we're talking to one of our show promoters in New Orleans about doing a major home and garden show. This Bluegrass on the Bayou, which was held, I think, out at LSU last year, is another SMG-related event. We actually did the catering for that event. It's a festival out of our Baton Rouge office. We're going to try and move that this fall as well. and an event called Bulls and Bronx, which is organized by a gentleman who used to work for the PBR that we do a lot of business with. So 3 additional pieces of business that we're working on for this year, and there's a lot more that we can talk about, but those are just 3 that I can give you, and we haven't even really taken over the operation yet. We're still working as an agent on your behalf. That's pretty much it. Like I said, we really don't see any problems at the moment in transitioning the account around the June 17th date, and we'll have this cash flow budget for Don and his staff here in the next couple of days, which will give us a more realistic picture of what we're looking at in terms of the finances for the rest of the year. Thank you.
The only other thing I would say is it's happened today. I'm very excited. Just left the meeting in Thibodeau with Senator Landrieu, Parish President, along Bayou Lafourche, which is not far where we sit. It's 98 miles. Senator Landrieu is very interested. Somebody had talked to me before about this. And really doing a master plan, macro concept to establish Bayou Lafourche as a sense of place, to establish it as a recreational tourism destination. And she committed this afternoon to see that in the October 1st federal budget, at least $500,000. 3 parish presidents and leaders there. The mayors of the city were invited by her to attend. Very positive meeting. Very exciting opportunity along Bayou Lafourche. And you realize it begins in our parish. It used to be connected to the Mississippi River, about where people of Watertown is now. A few hundred yards south of there is where it's kind of locked off. So most of it goes through Lafourche, but it goes through our parish and some in Lafourche. And so it's a very exciting opportunity. Senator Landry is very committed to it. All the mayors and parish presidents there are committed to it. So I need you guys to let me know if any of you oppose this. I can understand your reasons why. I think it's really something that would be great for our parish. It would be a beautification project, an economic development project, as well as a recreational quality family life project. The gentleman who made the presentation today is, some of you have met him, Patrick Moore from Alexander. He does a lot of work. Just recently finished doing the master plan for Florence Parish, the city of Iberia master plan, as well as a lot of others throughout the state. And I'm hoping to get him to work in our parish. I really respect the gentleman. His presentation is much like Mr. Stephen Lee from Iberia. He did a community like this. That just happened this afternoon, and it was very positive that we'll get some funding starting October 1st in the congressional level to get that project started. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Valentine.
Along those lines, Parish President, there's been talk several years ago, in fact, as far as increasing the volume into Bayou Lafourche. Does that have something to do with this particular situation?
And that would be what Senator Landry recommended, is to get a group of people, some from each of the 3 parishes, the mayors and cities have input of who these individuals would be. They may very well want to be on this commission, the informal commission to start with. So that we don't duplicate efforts, that all 3 parishes are working together on this master plan. Now, obviously, if it ends up, they're going to cost $20 million, if that's what the organization is planning. They'll have community charrettes up and down by each community, each incorporated area, get input from the citizens. And if that plan, once it's developed, say by year end, comes to $20 million, well, obviously it's going to have to be done in phases, but we'll get started. And with that $500,000, you said maybe $1 million, depending on what we end up needing to put together a true master plan for Bayou Lafourche. It'll be very complementary with riverfront development. Mary's really committed to that project in Donaldsonville. And so these are really tying well together. Mr. Moore, what he does when he goes around to do master plans, he actually talks to high school kids. He goes to middle school, high school, he says, you won't stay in Iberia, for example. Yes, sir, I did go watch. And he gets the kids to go out and take pictures of what they like about their community, 12 pictures. 12 pictures of what they felt like. And he gets with chambers, he gets with teachers, he gets with everybody in the community. And brings that together to put together what those people want their community to be. And so that's what he will do if we hire this gentleman with his firm. That's what they will do with Body of the Food. They'll go up and down that 98 miles. It'll take several months to put it together. And then they'll come back and say, well, this is what the people think we should do. And I'm very excited. It was a very positive meeting, and just a lot of enthusiasm, and all the mayors were excited about it. And it's a special thing to do to land these kind of projects. And being a senator, our senior senator, she has the ability to get us at least $500,000 in the first year from the Florida. That'll get us good together.
Ms. Savon, also Parish President, who in your staff is focusing on our jail situation problem in Ascension?
What we've done, justice concept study.
Well, that's what I'm primarily interested in, because I talked to Ms. Savoy this week. I've had a contact, and it was essentially, I guess, a problem that took place in the jail a while back, and it was due to some overcrowding situations, what have you. And then Mr. Savoy shared with me the letter that the sheriff sent out March 22nd, where he said he was only going to take violent offenders, and that's all the room he had because of the fire marshal situation. So I know we've met several times because I've been involved in that. And I know that we hired Justice Concepts, right? We shared that with the sheriff, and they came back with a report back in March. So I just want to know where we are with that. Maybe we need to get some kind of report to this council, because, I mean, that is our responsibility, and we do need to take care of that, just along with everything else in this parish. And
This is where we are, as I understand it, George. And this is, we had a meeting about 10 days ago with the DA's office again, the defender board, the sheriff's office, the prison warden, the judges, and the parish. And we reviewed the executive summary of the Justice Concept report. And they won't come back in and make a full presentation, but they want $6,000 for to do it. So we're discussing that.
to do a present of something we paid for already.
Yeah, we paid for it before. So now they're saying that was only for 1 or 2 trips, which I appreciate. So what the first recommendation that this company had was that we set up a coordinating council of all the stakeholders involved with our judicial system. And Mr. Ricky Babin was represented that day in the DA's office, Judge Chuo was represented the judges, and I think Ryland Person was represented in the defense board, of course the sheriff, and Tony, and myself, and Don. And so each of those entities is going to put a person on this informal coordinating council. And Justice Concept recommended that this council or this committee begin to work on several issues, from pretrial release programs to speeding people through the system faster so that they can get in and out of the jail quicker. We have people that have been in our jail, I think it was 34 people that have been there 10 times or more. The rest of the parish citizens, they're using it as a hotel, 3 meals and a place to sleep. And so all of these issues are being addressed, and the coordinating council will have the responsibility to look at alternatives to just adding jail space to speed up the process. Mr. Bowden committed the DA's office to work with us to do that, get people adjudicated quickly, get people to get the injured defenders, the attorneys to try to get with their clients quickly, so that they don't just sit there. We've had one gentleman who's been in our prison 4 years and has not been to trial yet. And so these kind of deals. And so this coordinating council is the first step to try to address that, what's causing the problem. With the ankle bracelets, and there's some new technology now that's supposed to be less expensive than the ankle bracelet. So in reality, financial reality, we can get people out of jail, put them on ankle bracelet programs and being monitored for a while. But that costs us more than the $350 a day it costs the parish to feed. Then when you put in the additional cost to add jail space and all, so this council will look at all of that and make a recommendation to them.
Yeah, I guess, back to my question. That's right. Who in the administration do I need to talk to? Okay.
The sheriff is asking somebody from the administration has power and authority to make decisions starting now.
Yeah. I mean, it just,
Don's getting a lot on now.
Right.
Don, he thinks he can handle it, he can't do that, just want someone else.
well, the fire marshal evidently went on March the 22nd, and it's limited to 264, and he had 280, prisoners. Right, I know that, but but it disturbs me because crime is picked up in this parish also, and the cocaine and the drug dealers, they are essentially they don't call them violent criminals, so they're going to turn those loose. I'd rather they stay in. So I mean, that's what I'm interested about. I want to make sure that we move on this, we don't lose this, and all the excitement of government. And I didn't realize that the sheriff had sent this letter out. He only sent it to the chairman and of course you and your staff, but I didn't remember seeing it, and that's why I was asking.
All that just to protect himself. And,
Well, he's doing a good job. He needs to, because we're responsible and we need to do something about it. So.
yeah, and we all. Any other questions about my report?
Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on the question Mr. President made. If we have a offender that's been, if we had an offender that has been in and out of jail, I would think we need to sort of concentrate on reforming or having some program to sort of reform that person, because I assume there is a problem or there's something going on. And I'm not sure whether we do have a program that we need to reform these people in terms of keeping them from going in, because if they've been in over 10 times, then there is a problem. So we may need to look at tightening up on reforming, of getting a class, or just doing something that may derail them going back to the situation and helping them out, trying to help them out, because I assume they have a problem.
We're paying for a doctor now, 2 nurses, plus a drug count. And if you get a copy of this justice report, if you haven't got it, you will get it. The sheriff is going to contribute it. It's just a draft, it's not the official report. But you'll see that a large percentage of our people in the parish jail are there for alcohol or drug-related reasons. And of course, sometimes, as George pointed out, they can add to other criminal activity, but a lot of times it doesn't. It's just that problem in and of itself. And so, and what's compounding it recently is the counsel that we're paying has been there for quite a number of years, is retired. It's this week, I think. And so, how do we judge the success? I guess if we look at truly recidivism rates, yes, we say we haven't been very successful. Because there was a large number. We had people been in 20 times before. Ascension Parish citizens been arrested 20 or more times. And that tells me that they think life is better in the parish jail, where they get medical attention, they get 3 meals a day, and get 3 room and board. Just about every one of them are applying for us paying for their attorneys. None of them are coming up there and defending themselves. Very, very seldom is what the sheriff and DA tell us. So obviously that's a problem when you have parish residents who've been arrested and in our parish jail 20 or more times. But until that person decides they want to change and they think life on the rest of the real world, that most of us live in, is better than that life, you can't make someone change. And people I've talked to with cocaine addictions, I've had a couple recently who say they've licked it. It's tough, from what I understand. So I don't know what else to do. This coordinating council is going to try to implement reform, including adding jail space, but also other alternatives that would hopefully help change your life and not just keep people in jail. That makes sense to all of us. How successful we want to be, but time will tell. But obviously, if we go from 32,000 people to 90,000 people in less than 40 years, we're going to have some criminal problems associated with the increase in that. So, no doubt, we're going to need more jail space. We're trying to look at ways other than just adding jail space to help solve the problem.
Well, I still intend on, and I still say that we should concentrate more on reforming and trying to help these people that's going in and out to the point where they can look at living a better life. And we need to concentrate more on reform than wanting to build more jails or even wanting to just expand the jail. I think that would be better than just expanding the jail. Reform and trying to help to get to where they need to be.
Mr. President, do you happen to know who the individual is that's been there 4 years and what was his crime?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's go on. Anybody else got anything for the purpose? Moving on, number 7, consent agenda.
I move the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 8, acceptance of bids, purchasing agent, Ms. Bonnie Burrell.
Good evening. On May 24th, we accepted bids for the official journal. 2 bids were received from Gonzales Weekly and Ascension Citizen. The Gonzales Weekly is a recommended low bid.
So moved,
Motion is
Mr. Chairman.
low bid. Motion by Mr. Hillenbeck, second by Mr. Byringer. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 9, resolution in support of changing the name of Police Jury Association of Louisiana to the Louisiana Parish Government Association. Parish President Ronnie Hughes.
Resolutions from other parish councils. Remember back when the River Parish Caucus, I think, was held in April in our parish, this was one of the things that we talked about. It seems, from what I can understand, several years ago, the Police Jury Association actually voted to do this, even though you have more police juries than we do council. And then the executive director at that time failed to do it and even passed a statute to where you couldn't use the name parish or something in the name of a... So this resolution that you were given, I think it was sent to us by Mr. Roussel, actually, in St. James, who was the past president of the Police Jury Association, who was in favor, and I personally am in favor, because I think Police Jury Association doesn't meet our needs as does some of the parishes with small populations who still have police juries. So I think the name that they've come up with is something like Louisiana Government Association. And so this is just a resolution that we send to the Police Jury Association and to the legislature, I guess, through them. And as I understand it, a legislator has introduced legislation this session so that we, a body of government entities, can use the word parish, if we need to, in the name of the State Association of County or Parish Government. So,
Move the resolution,
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Byringer. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 10, repeal amendment to Attorney Jeff Diaz's contract. Mr. McConnell and Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank Mr. Lambert for co-sponsoring this with me. That's how popular this item is. If you recall, back in January, I think the administration was considering moving to doing different things with attorneys, and therefore Mr. Diaz's contract had a cap placed upon it, a lower cap than what was originally put in the contract, because he just has a standing open contract. Well, since that time, Mr. Diaz was given the Lamar Dixon project, he was given the courthouse lawsuit project, he was given the Baton Rouge water franchise project, and that's a significant amount of work that was thrust upon him, and he is at the cap. And so therefore I offer a motion to repeal that amendment to restore the original cap to Mr. Diaz's contract so he can continue doing the work on behalf of the parish.
Motion by Mr. McConnell. Second. Second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 11, Utilities Committee. Chairman, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, we're going to pass on A, and we're going to go directly to B. Redirect STAG and Corps Engineers funds recommended by It's a recommendation by the administration.
Motion.
Hold on. We have some problems here. We have $250,000 that's allocated to do some work at Country Ridge. We're supposed to be redirecting those funds, moving them from STAG. What we going to do with that project, President Hughes?
I'm sorry, I was making a note. With the project, all the staff funds are just...
Country Ridge. We're moving the $250 we had allocated for Country Ridge. And
Mr. Rue will give you an explanation.
$250,000 that we were going to use at Country Ridge, we're moving it to the project in Donaldsonville for us, the ACUD.
Right.
Number one project, to give it $500,000 of funds so they can proceed with their construction. We have ways of getting funding for Country Ridge through Lake Pontchartrain Restoration and also possibly through the Rural Water Association.
So we're planning on funding.
We are going to
Country
fund.
Ridge.
We are going to repair Country Ridge, and we think we have funds that we can apply for that.
Okay. Well, so we're going to take the $250 that's allocated for Country Ridge and we'll add it to the $250, and we'll give ACUD one $500,000.
Motion. That's been the recommendation of the committee.
Got a motion by Mr. Thomas. Second by Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Question, Mr. Chasnut.
I'd just like to add to it as a substitute motion that we're waiting for a fund from Lake Pontchartrain, and it looks like we're going to get all of that and everything.
We have received, in fact, we have the contract from Lake Pontchartrain for the testing of $150,000, and it is possible to go through the next round of funding to actually receive the construction.
Okay. I'd just like to add on to that we will guarantee the work being done at Country Ridge also.
Yes, sir.
How are we going to guarantee that?
Well, through funds there, and if not, it has to come out of the general fund and make sure we get enough to do that project.
Mr. Byrigger, did I see your hand up?
Yes, sir, you did, Mr. Chairman. This happens to be my district, and these folks are in some need, especially when we have some hard rains like we had last week. We have some serious leaks in this system, a lot of infiltration. When this happens, we got stuff backing up and causes serious problems in this neighborhood. I offer a substitute motion to take $250 out of the jail fund, since we still don't know what we're going to do with that $500,000, whether we're going to put a new system or go to Donaldsonville. It's still up in the air. A new system would be $250. Till we make that decision, I'd rather move $250 out of the jail, $500,000 in the Country Ridge, and then you can still give the $500 to ACUD. That's my motion. $250 from the $500 out of the jail fund to Country Ridge, and the $250 from Country Ridge to ACUD.
Got a substitute motion to take $250,000 that was directed to the jail sewer project and put it toward Country Ridge. Mr. Root.
The Corps of Engineers, of course, everybody is after us to move forward as quickly as possible on sewer, to use these funds and get something done, start turning dirt. The Corps of Engineers took the recommendation of the Utility Committee as being the wishes of the council, has delivered these changes to EPA in Dallas, hand-carried this redirection of funds last week, and Mr. Walson at the EPA committed to us that within 30 days or so, he can have that officially okayed for that redirection. If you do it again, this means that we have to go to EPA in Dallas and void everything we've done to this point and resubmit a third or fourth redirection of funds. Again, it was unanimous at the Utility Committee we do this, and that's why they took that as an okay to move forward.
There's a substitute motion to to move $250,000 from the jail, $500,000 to Country Ridge. Is there a second?
No. 500,000 to ACUD1. I guess that's what Mr.
The substitute motion was to take the $250,000 that was allocated to Country Ridge, move it to ACUD, and move $250,000 from the jail sewer to Country Ridge. That's the substitute motion. Is there a second?
I'd like to ask Mr.
No. Is there a second to the substitute motion?
I'll second that for discussion.
Second. All right. There's good discussion. Mr. Shake-Snyder.
How can we get, can you help us with the assurances that we understand, like we're able to do? How can you help us to assure that we can get that done? If the funding is, we're going around for the next round of funding for Lake Pontchartrain. We have applied twice and received what we requested twice, and we have every indication. And this is, again, this is through Mr. Vitter, Senator Vitter. We have every indication, unless the funds are completely cut off, which they are not because they're committed through Congress, that we will be in line to receive a third one. We can't guarantee it, but again, we have 2 for 2 so far. And this is something that qualifies for the Lake Pontchartrain, which nothing else does. We can't tie that funding into anything else. So
for everybody else, that's the reason why we move the funds like that, is because this is the only project that really qualifies for the Lake Pontchartrain funds, which we have been getting. But we don't want somebody just sitting out there in the cold with this a possibility of getting funded. We want to make sure that's a project that should be funded. We want to make sure it gets funded.
And, I'm sorry, but may I say one other thing? Is that we just applied and have the contract in hand for the parish president to sign. Either he signed it or he's ready to sign it for the testing. And we really don't know how much or the extent of repairs needed until the testing is done and the recommendation from an engineering firm on what needs to be done. This thing may go to a $500,000 repair, or it may go to a $100,000 or $50,000 repair. We really don't know the extent of repairs until that comes in. So we actually were putting money in there to be ready for it, but we may be putting the cart before the horse. You know, we really don't know the extent of repairs.
Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Bill, $150,000 just for testing, and you know we're looking at coming out of general fund somewhere down the line, and I'm not going to be for that up front. We have $250,000 right here in the grant that's for it, and all of a sudden we're moving it. We're going to put $150 that you say is guaranteed now for testing, but we come back down the road. I've been here too long to see it. We've got to come up with money out of general fund. Another $100,000 here. Like you said, it may be $300,000 more. At least we have $250 to start with instead of $150 guaranteed. And
well,
I don't know why we're moving it. You know, what is the reason for moving it to ACUD? I thought $250,000 was enough for ACUD from the original
We were
start.
flexible on this, and the utility committee voted to take this action, to go this route with it, based on all the information that was given to them by us and the Corps, and the fact of the Lake Pontchartrain funds and other financial reasons. The other thing is the fact that the jail is something that we feel is of immediate importance, because something has to be done over there. You just talked about expansion of the jail. We have to do something with that system, and it seems to us if we could unload it, actually, quote unquote, and get rid of it and actually put it to the city of Downsville, they want it. It would benefit us, benefit the jail, and we'd be out of the sewer business. With this $500,000, we figured this is a good use of the funds.
So the jail $500,000 is there already?
Well, this part of this redirection.
Let me add, Bill, if I could, like the administration speaking. Todd, Mayor Sutherland is fine with the jail becoming part of the Donaldsonville sewer system, or whatever you call it. Well, obviously, we'll have to pay a fee, just like other.
I guess the question is, how quick can that happen for us staying in compliance? Do we have to do some more upgrading too?
We're in the process of upgrading of about $12,000 or $13,000 has already directed by the council for us to do at the jail to make sure it lasts up until we can do something else. But this is just a temporary fix. It's not something, especially if you get into an addition to the jail, then we actually need to really put a lot of money into this, where if we go this route, it's not necessary.
Mr. Valentine.
My comment's a little different. I mean, we have butchered this stag ramp left and right, last administration, this administration. What really upsets me is the fact that Mr. Rue or somebody directed him to go ahead on the vote of the utility committee before it came before this council. It puts us in jeopardy now if we decide to do something else, because the whole thing is there. This committee, this council decided to go with committees. Just because it comes out of committee doesn't mean that this council will vote for it. I mean, it's a process that a discussion takes place in the committee. Every councilman can go to that committee meeting. And Mr. Rubin just informed this council that he did it, and he said it twice. He said put the cart before the horse, and he's right. He did it. I don't know who directed him to do it. He did it on his own. Past president's problem. But we went to Dallas. We should fight Dallas now with something that a committee passed that didn't have to come before the council yet. And I think that's wrong. We need to start doing business right.
Mr. Lowry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of issues. We talked about the jail. At one time, I saw an estimate of $90,000 to run sewer lines to Johnsonville. Now it's $500,000. Utilities Committee, I asked what it was going to cost. We don't know what it's going to cost yet. Just like Mr. Rue said, we don't know what Country Ridge is going to cost. We don't know what any of this is going to cost. We have preliminary guesses. What are the fees going to cost to run the line at Donsonville? What's the monthly charge going to be to bring our jail sewage to Donsonville, as compared to spending $250,000 on our own system at the jail and operating it? What's the cost comparisons? I asked for that at the Utilities Committee. We still don't know. All right. And the last comment I got, next time we got 7 inches of rain at 11:30 and somebody calls me and their toilet's overflowing in Country Ridge, I'm going to give them all y'all number, not mine.
Mr. Todd.
Again, I'd asked that question on me, it got answered. The 500,000 ACUD, why did it move from 250 to 500,000? We had allocated 250 and was told that that was all ACUD
They went back and forth
needed.
several times, and this is a decision of the Utility Committee.
So it still ain't answered. Why it went up $250,000? We can answer that. Mr. Shepard said he can answer.
Mr. McCollum, you want the floor?
If you don't mind, I'll yield to Mr. Shakespeare to answer the question, and then I'll...
We can answer that, and the reason being is because they want to do the project of putting the tower up, the water tower up, and that's going to be the cost of that, to do that project. Without that, they can't do the project. And that's a capital outlay thing, and once they get the capital outlay there, then they can do revenue bonds and hook up customers, and that was the reason for it.
And that wasn't in the design up front? They changed the design on it, as far as the water tower?
What happened was, because of the development in the area, the water tower went up from 150,000 gallons to 250,000 gallons. Therefore, it was because of all the economic development in the area, which, if we continue to not do this, we're losing out. And, right now, St. James is getting the jail, the hotel, and Lemonville, and everything else, and Donaldville is getting Walmart, and everything else, and the parish is getting nothing for water, which we could be reaping a positive, which then we can put back in for other infrastructure. And so this is extremely important to get the infrastructure for water, which is a revenue producer in this parish. And without this, it sets us back a great deal. And St. James and Donaldsonville is reaping the benefit.
I have to correct you on one comment that you said, Mr. Chase Snyder. The district is going to benefit, not the parish. The water district will benefit from the revenue from the water, not the parish, because it is a special district. Okay. Mr. McConnell.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate Mr. Valentine's comment from a moment ago. I still have some bruises and bloody marks from all the fighting that we've done over 4 years over this stag grant. It seems like we had finally come to an agreement on how to allocate the STAG grant. And I'm sure those individuals who administer this STAG grant really got tired of hearing the name Ascension Parish, because it's gone back and forth and bandied up and down. And now here we are once again making changes and amendments to the STAG grant when it's all been hammered out. And I think that's one of the reasons that it took us so long to hammer out that deal on the STAG grant before, is because we would have some of these Johnny-come-lately suggestions, and oh, well, that's a better idea, and okay, let's allocate the money that way, and so forth. It just seems to me that we're not prepared to vote on that, because there are far too many opinions around this table about how that money can be allocated. Country Ridge has been a problem
Way back.
for a long time that we have inherited, and it seems to me that before we start creating a wonderful panacea in another part of the parish, we should take care of the problem that we have inherited and that we have been dealing with. And it sounds like nobody is really sure, because I'm not really sure exactly what we're voting on and where the money is going to go. And like Mr. Lambert said, how did the $90,000 sewer pipe become a $500,000 sewer pipe? This sounds like it's something that is very ripe to go back to the Utilities Committee to bang this out, and if we all need to show up at the next Utilities Committee meeting to have a better understanding of what it is we're considering, then I'm certainly willing to do that, and I would hope my colleagues on the council would be as well. But I'm not comfortable voting on any of the motions or substitute motions or any of the proposals that are here before us tonight, and I would encourage us to withdraw this plan at this time and let's kind of rethink this and rethink the direction of where we're going before we start once again asking the EPA to redirect funding from that STAG grant. I would hope that all the motions would be withdrawn tonight and that this would be sent back to the Utilities Committee for further consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill, your comment about the fact that this was unanimous out of committee, I guess that's probably what prompted you to go ahead to Dallas. To remind you, we also had a unanimous recommendation out of committee the early meeting in May, when it was unanimous out of committee to cut that wastewater treatment contract, because we had the operators on board that could handle that situation along with consulting engineers on contract. You know what? That didn't get approved either. Two of the three people that voted for it in committee voted for it to keep the contract on the floor, and the taxpayers were not spared. And there was no discussion that night, so I don't know what went on between the committee meeting and the council meeting, but you can't just bank on something because it's out of committee. Thank you.
Now, comment, Mr. Chairman, I made the decision to authorize the Corps of Engineers to proceed with their time schedule, which was to go to EPA, to go to Dallas last week. I mean, this was on their schedule to do it for the last month. They had scheduled this trip with EPA, had it set up, and when it came out of committee with a unanimous vote, we said, stay on your schedule, go. Now, it's there. There's nothing wrong with us calling Mr. Watson or EPA and say, we got changes in it, it's just going to delay. If everything came through tonight and everything was okay, we could call them up, email them tomorrow, and say, we got council action, move on it. So again, it's not committed by EPA. It's nothing wrong with pulling it. It's just going to delay everything another month or 2 months or 3 months before we can do anything.
Anybody else? Any comment? We're going to vote on the substitute motion to move the $250,000 that was originally set for Country Ridge and move it to ACUD. We're going to move $250,000 out of the $500,000 that's been allocated to the jailhouse to Country Ridge. That is the substitute motion.
Second.
I seconded that, but I withdraw that. I second that because of discussion. I withdraw that second.
Where is Mr. Babbitt?
He's hiding in the corner.
can I say one other thing, sir? Again, you may want to refer this all back, because the core, some of this funds in core, if I'm not mistaken, I think the jail is part of the core funds, and the Country Ridge is part of the Stag redirection. So you're taking one to go to the other, and the other will go back. It's getting messed up, and I would say, let's take it back to committee and hash it out.
Mr. Chairman.
We may not be able to do this kind of adjustment.
Is that a recommendation coming from you at this time? Bring it back to committee.
Yes, sir. I mean, if apparently, we need to sit down. The Corps of Engineers will be at the Utility Committee Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and we will be prepared to take all suggestions and review it with everybody and tell what they can do and can't do. The only thing I do ask respectfully, when we go to committee, I mean, our committee system is not going to work if it comes out with unanimous vote and everything changes a week later. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. I'm having a lot of problems moving forward.
Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir.
You are not a council member.
Yes, sir, I understand.
You work for Mr. Parish President there, Ronnie Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Our committees are set up with 5 members. They're not set up by majorities, and that's why they're set up that way. Committee, I don't care if it comes out unanimous on every committee. It does not get approved until it comes to this council and gets 6 votes. And I would respectfully hope that nothing ever comes out of committee again and gets sent somewhere before this council votes on it from the administration. And he already admitted he did it on his own. So that's, like I said, Parish President's got to deal with that.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dempsey.
I'm going to second the motion for Mr. McConnell to bring this back to the Utility Committee, and we'll hash this out.
That was not a motion. It was straight. It was a recommendation.
Well, I'll make the motion then.
I'll second it.
I don't know how many we can pile on there. That's why I didn't make a motion.
Mr. Babbitt. Sir. I got a substitute motion by Mr. Byru. I got a second by Mr. Shakespeare. After discussion, Mr. Shakespeare wants to pull his second. Is it legal through Robert's Rules of Order for him to do that?
Section 5, Robert's Rules of Order, after the chair has stated a question, motion, it's open to debate by members of the assembly. The person making the motion can no longer withdraw or modify it if anyone objects, without getting the approval of the assembly to withdraw it, or by making a motion for the amendment. That's the person making the motion. It doesn't speak as to the second, but I would apply the same rules since it takes 2 active to bring forward that. So by analogy, I would say if there is no objection, he can withdraw his second. If there is an objection, then it would have to be done with the consent of the body.
And I would like to withdraw my second in order to bring it back to the utilities committee.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hillenbeck.
yeah, just for clarification, I know things are going to sometimes change, but what I meant by that statement is this: I don't understand how it changed. There was no discussion by the council after a recommendation came unanimously from committee. We went a different direction. So that's my point on that wastewater treatment contract.
All right. There's no second to Mr. Byruger's substitute motion. Motion fails. Now we're going to move to the original motion made by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Adrian, to go with moving $250,000 from the Country Ridge project to the ACUD. Any questions on that? Everybody understands what's on the table?
Do we have a substitute motion?
We have no substitute motion. On
Are we in order? Are we in order to make a substitute motion at this time?
Order or not, I'll give you one.
You just made it.
Come on, Mr. Babbitt, move this thing. We're at the original. We're on the original motion.
There's a motion pending, motion and a second, the original motion.
Right.
The substitute motion was made.
Was withdrawn.
Debate was on the substitute motion. Substitute motion has just failed for lack of support. So we're here.
Back to the
under
original motion.
Debate, the original motion.
That's
During
correct.
Debate, you can make the substitute motion, the original motion.
Mr. Jensen Lamb.
I'm going to offer the substitute motion that we bring this back to the Utility Committee Wednesday at 6 o'clock at DPW so we can resolve these issues.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert,
second.
second by Mr. McConnell. Mr. Hillingsbeck.
I'd just like to offer up a recommendation that we might want to look at this in finance, all these dollars, and it would be the entire body. So I would offer a substitute.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Cut it out.
You want to change your motion then?
Is there it? Mr. Thomas.
Yes. I just have a comment. I know Mr. Valentine talked about Mr. Rue's decision on what he did, and in defense of Mr. Rue, I personally think that he made a decision, and I know it has to come back to the full council, made a decision on doing it because of the time restraint and because of the decision on the past that we have totally messed with the STAG grant in doing certain things and moving this here and moving this there. And I don't think that he was doing, that he did anything out of order, so to speak. I thought he was doing it in the best interest and getting this thing passed because of a time restraint and because of the ACUD, one, losing revenues and just losing a lot of stuff that they need to have the money to just move forward. In his defense, that's my own, that's the way I feel that, he just didn't do it, and he knows the procedure that it has to come back, but due to the fact that the utility committee voted unanimously to do it, we understand that and we have changed, but I just feel that he did what he did because he needed to get it passed and needed to get it going because of all of the red tape and all the other stuff that it's going to take to get this passed, get this through.
Is there any opposition to the substitute motion sent back to the utility committee on Wednesday at 6 o'clock at DPW? No opposition, motion passes.
Comment, Mr. Chairman. I've stayed out of that discussion, but since the administration has been accused of improper action, I remind the body that you can be asked to ratify decisions of the administration. Happens in all kind of public bodies, and so I think we need to be real careful. And I remind you that this particular state tribal assistance grant goes back to 1999. Probably the most important part of this whole discussion that we may have not focused on was the fact that we've embarrassed our congressional delegation because of a lack of spending this money for going into the 6th year now. Now, I understand there are some territorial issues sometimes between federal agencies, and what we've tried to do here is pretty unique in bringing the Corps together and the EPA to work together to spend our tax dollars wisely so we don't waste it. In the past, they just each did their thing and get their appropriations and do what's best for their agency. We, at my request, asked them to please work with us not to waste our tax dollars, to come up with a complementary plan that both of these agencies would work on together. And because it's been so long, not only has this money still been sitting, our share of this, I remind you, is 45%. So we've had over $1 million, or right, $1 million of parish funds sitting in an account since 1999 because it has to be committed to this grant. Can't be spent elsewhere. So that money, you're talking about opportunity cost of $1 million of Lamar Dixon. I submit to you that you've lost out on the opportunity cost for 6 years now of a 45% match of a $1.1 million federal appropriation. And if the citizens understand that, I think they would really be upset. So that's important. The second main point is that because of this inaction and lack of agreement, we have missed out each year since then on opportunities for other STAG grants. So we could have probably got $1 million, $1.5 million if we would have the 45% to match each of those years. And so I just plead with you for you guys to get together next Wednesday night and make a decision that you all feel good about and spend this money before the new federal appropriation year begins October 1st. Not waste it, but spend it on something that is going to really help our parish so that we can then apply for another one. So, but this has been 6 years now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Fontenot.
On December the 18th, 2003, the old council, that's what you want to refer to them, directed this money. And the very first thing that this administration did was start to redirect it. $250,000 of that money was going to go to fire hydrants in my district. That went by the wayside. That money's still sitting somewhere and not spent. $250,000 to the jail to repair the jail. The jail is still unrepaired. Okay? There was, that was 250 there, 250 there. Money was supposed to be going to, some of this money was taken out of where it was directed to so that we could start a wastewater treatment plant at Lamar-Dixon. 18 months in this administration, we have no wastewater treatment plant started. The money should have stayed in the original stuff. When the last council voted to move the money, it should have been moved. It should have been spent. We shouldn't be here tonight trying to spend the money. We should be spending the money we would get after that. That's all I have to say.
Ms. Fontenot, I'm afraid we can't spend that $250 on fire hydrant because it's private lines. That's, you know, we only can spend it on lines if we own the system.
We can, thank you. Look, we can go around the table on this stuff here.
Let's move on.
The STAG money's been around for a very long time, and right now, everybody's got their hands dirty. Everybody sitting around this tables got their hands dirty on STAG. So let's move on, and let's see what comes out of the Utilities Committee. Thank y'all. Number 12, Personnel Committee, Mr. George Valentine.
Thank you, Chairman Savoy. Personnel Committee met last Thursday, interviewed several impressive volunteers for some of our boards. The first appointments tonight will be for the Ascension Parish Mental Health and Addictive Disorder Advisory Board. Two applicants. First applicant that the personnel is recommending is Mr. Brian Lambert.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Move by Mr. Todd Lambert. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Fontenot. Any questions? Any opposition? Having done, motion passes.
Second applicant we interviewed was a lady by the name of Ms. Renda Hodnett, a very impressive lady who is in the social services field, and it was unanimous decision to recommend Ms. Hodnett.
So moved, or second.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Hillenbeck. Any questions? Any opposition? Having done, motion passes.
Second one is the Ascension Parish Fire Protection District Number 1, or is it 1 or 2? What's Donaldsonville? It's 2. I'm sorry. I got one on one paper and 2 on another. Mr. Wellington Johnson, which is a reappointment.
Motion by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
The next was an appointment to the West Ascension Parish Hospital Service District Board, Mr. Willard Berg.
Second.
Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Hillenbeck. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Also, we had a renewal on the Board of Residential Contractors Examiners, Mr. Ronnie Koke.
Motion by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Shakespeare. Any questions? Any opposition? Motion passes.
That's all, Chairman. We do have some other...
I have to, you finished, Mr.?
Well, I'm sorry, we do have some other appointments that we're going to need to fill, so we're going to need to get with Ms. Patterson and make sure that we get those interviews done and get them filled. Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm finished.
The chair has made a mistake. I had a gentleman that wanted to speak on 12C, and we were moving pretty rapidly, and I failed to see Mr. Kerry Williams still in. Mr. Kerry, I want to apologize for overseeing your speaker card.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman. I want to speak on the West Ascension housing. We need to do stuff with the cleaning with the West Ascension thing. I think, talked to Ms. Thomas about that, we need to find stuff to clean up after district. When they put trash up there, we need to clean it up.
Kerry and I talked there, and he's talking about the Keep Ascension Beautiful. We'll be picking the trash up here lately, coming this month. So, Kerry, we want to thank you for bringing that up, and we appreciate you coming up.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you very much.
And that is, I'm Kerry. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 13, Recreation Committee, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a lengthy discussion with the Recreation Commission. We had the advisory board. We had 3 members of the advisory board showed up for the Recreation Committee meeting. We also discussed about looking at all our parks, doing some upgrading on our facilities and all our parks, the bathrooms, fencing, and so on. We also talked about the Modest Park, the lighting that needs to be that need to be fixed. And again, as I said before, we talked about the bathrooms, fencing, and so on. Mr. Jared, do you have anything you want to comment on?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, our next meeting is going to be the June 28, 2005, at DPW at 6 o'clock, and we're asking that the people of Ascension show up for the meeting. 6 o'clock at DPW on June 28th, at the last Tuesday in this month. Thank you.
Mr. Dempsey Lambert?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, Coach, I want to add was looking at abolishing the governing board for the parks and combining them with our recreation committee. So we might have that on the next meeting, Coach.
Yeah, that was the recommendation.
Okay.
Okay. Thank y'all. Transportation Committee, Chairman, Ms. Fontenot.
The Transportation Committee did not meet. We only meet on the second Tuesday of the month. There will be a meeting on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. at DPW. Normally, it follows the Utility Committee meeting, but this time they've moved it to Wednesday, but we're going to continue on the Tuesday. I also wanted to make the statement that the reason why I objected a while ago is because I was at DPW for 2.5 hours today, and nobody told me anything about this problem on Boudreaux Road, and I'm the chairman. So that's what I was just an open objection because I wasn't informed, and I wasn't informed about this update on Highway 44 either. I think that before something is added to the agenda under my report, that it needs to come through me. But I will yield to Mr. Shakespeare. Thank you.
Mr. Shakespeare?
And I just called to put it on the agenda, and it was just for informational purposes only, that the very latest, a bunch of people have been calling about Highway 44, what was going to happen. Since in the past few years, we've had the state agreeing to come from a 4-lane to a 3-lane to a 2-lane with wide shoulders and redirecting the bridge. And now that they've decided to just overlay it and put a turning lane at the main entrance of Pelican Point and at 22. Due to the very near future increase in the number of subdivisions located on 44 and some commercial establishments, I think it's in the parish's best interest to really encourage the state and the parish to get us involved as much as possible is to get right away before these entities are built out, because it's pretty obvious in that area that Highway 44 will be expanded at least with shoulders and turning lanes. And if we acquire the right of way at this point in time, we can lessen the cost in the future by a great deal when we do have to expand this road, which by everyone's opinion is going to have to be done. The reason they're not doing it now is because of state funding. And so we don't want to stop this project from occurring. It's ready to be let, and they can start construction on it next year. So with that in mind, we want to try to work with them and try to see anything else that we can possibly get to try to enhance Highway 44 and make things safer for the people out there in a very unsafe road. And that's all.
All right. I'm going to take up B, that is Boudreaux Road, 2/3. Mr. Root? What are you asking for here?
Ken, I don't have the paperwork. I apologize, Councilwoman. This only came up, I think today, I discussed this with Councilman Thompson. We have a situation on Boudreaux Road where a section of the road is overtopped by heavy rainfall several times over the last number of years. It's not something that is in a situation where we need to spend a whole lot of money on if, in fact, we weren't reconstructing the road. But since we are reconstructing the road to AASHTO standards, or as close as we can get to it, and we can, for a minimal amount of money, we can make this road a lot better in all situations and a lot safer. We decided about, I guess, this week, actually, to at least recommend to the council to spend an additional, not to exceed $50,000, I think, to actually raise this one section of road so it's actually level and will not be overtopped by any type of flooding situation. If we don't do it this time, then it probably will never get done, and it may get worse in the future.
Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Root, what you're telling us is we got a place on Boudreaux Road that in the past has been topped with rainwater that we didn't put in the scope of widening the road. But now it's an emergency and we got to do it.
It's only an emergency. We did, the administration did not bring this up as an emergency. We discussed with Mr. Thompson, and we told Mr. Thompson that we will back him if he decided to suggest to the council that it be brought up as an emergency. It has been topped in the past, but that's in heavy, heavy rainfall. We felt that, again, for a minimal amount of money at this time, we can solve that situation. It wasn't something that the engineers saw through the design of the road, the initial design of the road.
We did same test, hydraulics test, everything, but it didn't show up in none of that.
Again, it's only been, I guess Mr. Thompson can answer some of these questions. He lives near the road.
Yes, the road gets about 8-9 inches of water on it whenever you have a lot of rain. Mr. Willard Quintmore was doing the survey, and he decided he was going to call everybody in the parish and tell them about the dip in the road, that we need to raise the road. And really, we need to raise the road. What the engineers and the contractor looked at, they need to raise the road, I think, 8 or 9 inches. And I'd like to offer a motion that we spend the additional $50,000, not to exceed $50,000 to raise the road.
Got a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Byron. Mr. Hillenbeck.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would have liked to have known about this earlier, but I'm glad it's come up now. I think it's certainly more cost-effective to do this now than try to come back later on, and so I support Councilman Thompson.
Mr. Todd Lambert.
Mr. Bill, are we close in budget or estimate? Is this going to put us over the estimate of this particular road?
No, sir, we're still going to be within our budget on this.
Any further?
Let me just add this, Mr. Chairman, Council, obviously, most of these road projects we're widening were from the previous administration and previous council, Jar. What they had recommended we do. I'm not sure if they did the scope back then or what they did on engineering. I've never been on Boudreaux Road when it was underwater, so obviously I don't have personal information of flood. Someone called me, it may have been Mr. Quintmore, I'm not sure who, a couple of weeks ago, and I asked Public Works to look into it. First time I'd heard that the road had been underwater. And I think it was the the storm event that people remembered the most was probably Allison in 2001, when we had 25 inches of rain in the parish in 6 days. But I had no personal knowledge of that, and that was a project that had been put on the agenda to do for a long time. And so when I was told by Mr. Quintmar, or whoever told him, one of these breakfasts with the elders in the morning, that this road may have a problem the way it's being redone, I said, well, let's look at this immediately and find out if that is the case. And so Bill looked into it. I've been out of the office all day today, meetings and on bayous and things with people, but this is the first I've heard that how much we need to increase it and what it would cost us to, what is it, 1,000 feet? How many feet are they saying it was?
I think something in that neighborhood. It's just one section of the road.
I think what really happened, someone who lived there saw the work being done and said, hey, this road, is being higher than that with water over it. And then Mr. Quintmar got involved with surveying. So a lot of times the local people know more about it than engineers, I guess, because they live there.
Yeah, just one other comment. Willard did speak with me about it, and I'm glad he did. But he went as far as to say he checked, and sure enough, the road was listed on the barricade list with, I think, with the Office of Emergency Preparedness or whoever puts the barricades out, and sure enough, they had it on there. So Willard knows what he's talking about, and like I say, I think we do it now. It would be more cost-effective than to come back and address it later, even though...
I want to correct Mr. Rudo. He said the road would never flood again. A lot of people thought that at Noah's time, too, so...
That's it. But we have competent hands on our pumping system, and we won't guarantee it, but we stand behind our ability to lessen the impact.
Is there any opposition to the motion? Having that motion passes. Strategic Planning Committee, Mr. Shea Snyder.
Thank you, Chairman. We have an issue for the senior performance contract. Make a proposal and a presentation in order for the parish to find ways to save on lighting and operations in their buildings. We went over the program investment that the parish had to make of approximately $600,000, which we would render a savings of approximately $5,000 a year. Since the investment was a large amount and the savings was a comparatively small amount, we asked her to revisit it and come up with a demonstration project, which she will send us next meeting and try to get us some new numbers with some new buildings and see if there's something that could get us a better return for our money, at which time we can make a recommendation. We also had some people that came in, led by Mr. Sonny Creel, and complained about issues of cleaning up properties along Manchac Point, junk cars, junk boats, etc. Mr. Vern Bourgeois and administration have been looking into this, and they've been running into some roadblocks and trying to get some things in order to affect a cleanup out there. So we asked Mr. Tom Francis to proceed with the authority he has to do what he has to do to get this cleaned up. Michael Songy had a report which Mr. Francis made on strategic planning, and Karen Fernandez spoke on the Unified Development Code and the mixed-use overlay subdivision construction specifications and green space, buffer yard, and master plan, which all will be covered in the town hall meeting that she has scheduled. We also tried to finalize the town hall meeting dates, and she was trying to recontact all of the council members to make sure that everybody's okay so that they can advertise in the paper on the flyers. And I just want to make sure that everybody is comfortable as we get ready to put advertisements out. If no one is, if anybody has a problem, please contact us now so we can make changes. The Parish TV Subcommittee scheduled a meeting on Wednesday discussing future TV issues here, at which time we had some discussions with the Ascension Parish School Board, and we're waiting for some information for them, and we will proceed from there with some recommendations. We had a proposal to reduce the number of council members and we put that on the agenda for discussion next month. And we also had some information on new business, where I asked Mr. Fansett and the administration to make sure that we have an evacuation plan in place for Lamar Dixon due to the proximity of the plants. And we also had talked about having a discussion at the next meeting to form a commission for no-wake zone and our waterway commission similar to Livingston Parish, so we can do the no-wake zones and things of that sort. And that's all we had.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add, Mr. Chairman, and thank Kent and Ty. We went out this morning early on Bayou Conway, and I would like to, the administration would like to ask you guys to even look at the possibility of not just a Amite River Commission, maybe, Kent, but also just Waterway Commission in general, so we try to prevent some of these problems in the future and try to keep these waterways in a little better state of repair, both for drainage purposes as well as safety purposes and people fishing and doing other recreational activities on our inland waterways. I think it's important. Amite River is probably most important right now because of the heavy boating season that's upon us now after Labor Day, after Memorial Day. But I'd like you guys to look at the whole, all the canals where we have some boating activity and things and see what we need to do there.
It would be a waterway commission. They would only deal with the Amite River group for joint cooperation since we share those areas. And one thing that I forgot, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, Tom Bush made a status report on the transportation study. He gave us some informational booklets, and I encourage our councilmen to look at the report, try to get a better understanding, give them a call if you have any questions or anything. The booklet that he gave out, and if you are interested in getting one, please contact the administration and try to get one if you're not get one to this point.
Why don't you go ahead and have one sent to all of us?
He is also going to go to the Transportation Committee. The reason he came to strategic planning is because strategic planning is set up, that part of strategic planning set up a transportation study, and now he's going to the Transportation Committee with everything else.
Chair. I got one comment on Mr. Ronnie. The little trip we took this morning was about 4 hours, and I'd like to thank the two boat drivers that furnished their boats, gas. Happened to be two brother-in-laws of mine, but they did a fine job, took us through some, deep in the canals that are really need some snagging on because it's filtering in pretty good. But I would like to thank both Mr. Perry Shake Snyder and Mr. Harold Shake Snyder, Jr. for bringing us along this trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Shakespeare, didn't we also ask Siemens to go ahead and take a look at Lamar Dixon and maybe come back with some numbers on that?
That's the alternate plan.
Yeah.
Chairman, one correction, Mr. Shaken. The report, a summary of the report, a draft of the report, transportation report came to us, and we've been reviewing it for the last couple of weeks, and we have seen some obvious deficiencies in that report. We have already made comments to, we know some of the things you're interested in and we're interested in, and it obviously wasn't in that report. So we have already taken the step to send it back and make some corrections, revisions in it. We should have that back next week, and when we get that back, we're going to send it out for further comments from y'all. So that's why we didn't send it to y'all yet.
He made it very plain,
Right.
just a draft to put out there and for information purposes for the council to look at and try to take recommendations back.
And it has some technical issues that we're talking about that we want to correct before we give it to the rest of the council and to the parish president.
All right. Number 16, zoning review, ID 128005. Rezone property located at the northwest corner of Louisiana Highway 74 and Cary Lane from medium intensity residential to Crossroads Commercial for A&M Properties of Baton Rouge, and this is for review only. Introduction of ordinance. Introduction of ordinance providing for the execution and delivery of a lease agreement regarding Lamar Dixon Expo Center and related properties and providing for other matters in connection thereof. Bond Counsel, Mr. Bill LeBlanc.
Mr. Chairman, I move to introduce the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Thompson to introduce the ordinance. Any opposition to the motion? Ms. Suzanne. Mr. George Valentine opposes. and Chairman Salvo opposes. Any other? Motion passes. Thank you, Bill. Number 18, public hearing to consider an ordinance revoking 40-foot private servitude of passage and a 10-foot servitude, utility servitude extending through center of tract for Gerald Villar, property tract 2A2, Ricky P. Villar Sr., Mr. Ricky Backer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ordinance reads to revoke an existing 10-foot utility servitude and a 40-foot right of passage servitude, Gerald Villar Road, on Lot 2A2 of the original Gerald P. Villar property located in Section 12, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council, its governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, hereby revokes the 10-foot servitude of Lot 2A2 of the original Gerald P. Villar property located in Section 12, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern District, east of the Mississippi River. All of the servitudes of record are hereby reserved.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Byricker. Any opposition? Motion passes. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion closed.
Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Todd Lambert, close the public hearing. Any opposition? Motion passes. Number 19, the ordinance itself.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Byricker. Any question? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 20, public hearing to consider an ordinance revoking 15-foot servitude across rear property line of both lots for the Bobby W. Severio property, lots 1A, 1A, and 1A, 1B, Bobby Severio and Michael Severio. Mr. Babb.
This is an ordinance to revoke public servitude shown in yellow on the certain tracts of parcels of land designated as Lot 1AI, A, and Lot 1AIB, as shown on the map entitled Map Showing the Subdivision of Lot 1AIA of the Bobby W. Severio property into lots AIA, and 1AIB, located in the southeastern quarter of Section 28, Township 8 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, for Bobby W. Severio and Michael K. Severio. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, hereby revokes that public servitude designated as 15-foot servitude as shown in yellow on a map of survey entitled Map Showing the Re-Subdivision of Lot 1A1 of the Bobby W. Severio property into lots 1A1A and 1A1B, located in the southeastern quarter of Section 28, Township 8 South, Range 3 East, Southeast Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Central Parish, Louisiana, for Bobby W. Severio and Michael K. Severio, prepared by W.J. Quinton Mall, Jr., professional land surveyor. All of the public servitudes as they may affect the subject property are hereby reserved.
Motion to open up the public hearing.
Motion by Mr. Jensen Lambert, open the public hearing, second by Ms. Fontenot. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Motion by Mr. Byron, second by Mr. Jensen Lambert. Close the public hearing. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 21, the ordinance itself. Motion by Mr. Thompson. Second by Mr. Byron. Any question? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Mr. Thompson, speak up. 22, public hearing to consider an ordinance revoking 15-foot servitude extending through all 4 lots, Country Ridge South, lots 4A, 6A, 9A, 11A, for McLean and Associates. Mr. Babbitt.
The ordinance reads to revoke a 15-foot servitude located on lots 4A, 6A, 9A, and 11A, Country Ridge South, being the same servitude along the west and south property line of original Lot 7 of the east and south property line of original Lot 8. Since these lots have been re-subdivided, the servitude is no longer needed because there is existing servitude along the rear of the new lots that is sufficient, as shown on the map entitled Map Showing Re-Subdivision of Lots 1 through 11, Country Ridge South, into Lots 1A, 3A, 4A, 6A, 9A, and 11A, by Lester A. McLean, Jr., professional land surveyor, dated 2/24/2005. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, hereby revokes the 15-foot servitude located on lots 4A, 6A, 9A, and 11A, being that same servitude along the west and south property line of original Lot 7 and the east and south property line of original Lot 8 of Country Ridge South, located in Section 6, Township 9, South, Range 3 East, Ascension Parish, Louisiana. All of the public servitudes affecting said property are hereby reserved.
Do I hear a motion to open public hearing? Motion by Mr. Byrick.
Second.
Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion closed, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Ms. Fontenot to close the public hearing. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 23, the ordinance itself.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Byrick. Any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Number 24, public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the 2005 budget of Lamar Dixon, Ricky Valley.
Ordinance amending the year 2005 budget, Second Amendment, Sales and Use Tax District Number 1 Fund, transfer out $1 million to the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Lamar Dixon Expo Center Fund, transfer in to receive $1 million transfer in from the Sales and Use Tax District Number 1 Fund and establish new fund. Expenditures, professional services, $575,000, rental fees, $125,000, insurance premium, $100,000.
Move to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Thompson, open the public hearing. We have two wishing to speak. Mr. Jack Rome.
Good evening. I'm Jack Rome. I'm chairman of the board of the Lamar Dixon Expo Foundation, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have relative to the lease agreement with option to purchase, the process that's transpired to date. So I'll just make myself available to answer any questions anyone may have. No questions? Thank you very much.
Ms. Lori Brandon.
Thank you, Chairman Savoy. Thank you, council members. The citizens of Ascension Parish have indicated that they want Lamar Dixon to remain open, and tonight you take the final step of the journey by voting on the budget item to operate Lamar Dixon. I'm here tonight to represent the foundation, and since last January of 2004, we've been working on our next chapter for Lamar Dixon. We're proud that the people will now have it and hope they will embrace it as their own. And we trust the facility will thrive as never before in the capable hands of Doug Thornton and S&G and you, the parish. It's always been the intention and hope of the Lamar Dixon Expo Foundation that the reach of the facility expands to as many people as possible and serves the people as a valuable asset of Ascension Parish. Speaking of this mission, we want to thank you for saving it. To that end, let me tell you, we received no other viable offer that would preserve the integrity of Lamar Dixon's public mission. We want to assure you that we're here tonight in good faith, and we're trusting you with this asset, and we thank you. We look forward to your buying it. And I know there have been rumors and different things around, and I've gotten to know all y'all's phone numbers pretty much by heart now, keeping the communication lines open. And we haven't promised this to anyone else. We haven't been able to get into discussions with anyone else. There has been no one else who's been willing to preserve this mission. And the price is $7.5 million to preserve the mission. So I just wanted to get up and assure everybody of that, answer any questions, and thank you again for your efforts. I'll be here for questions if you need them. Thank you.
Mr. Kevin Goff.
Good evening, council members, Chairman Savoy, President Hughes. I find it very interesting that Miss Lori Brannon just came up and said that we're going to buy Lamar Dixon, because I've heard several statements from this group that we're not going to buy. We're just going to lease. 2 years, over $2 million, and we don't have the money to buy. Will dedicating the $1 million of surplus in the general fund jeopardize other services to the people? We know it will. What happens if we have a true emergency, just like we were talking tonight a few minutes ago about the Utilities Committee report? Now, just know, I'm not against Lamar Dixon. This is a financial decision we're making here. Hurricane season started yesterday. We've got potential flooding, we talked about that, needs with the sewer system. And if this money is dedicated in the general fund, then you cannot come and say, I need $50,000 for Country Ridge now, or $50,000 to raise this road. You won't have that money. It's gone. Every penny of it. Why do we have to dedicate this money? I don't understand that. It's not been explained. You are free now, as far as I know, to use that money for Lamar Dixon. It's in the general fund. It's at your disposal, as you wish. You will lose options to use the money if you dedicate it. We are not in a position to purchase it. We'll go for 2 years. We really haven't committed ourselves to purchase it. All we've said is, well, we'll go 2 years, and if we don't have the money, and we don't, we'll just give it back. That's not commitment. Writing a check and emptying out the account in the general fund without sufficient money to complete the transaction only postpones the inevitable. It really lacks foresight. At some point, you must face the reality. Without the purchase price, you will be forced to walk away from the table, having wasted at least $2 million or more. And you when there may be a buyer, we don't know, there may be a buyer who is prepared to pay the money for this, and then they don't have the opportunity. Just because we have $1 million this year doesn't mean we'll have $1 million next year. We're counting on a surplus here. Would you, each one of you, if you were in this situation, personally take $1 million of your own money and risk it for this lease? Because the money you're spending is taxpayers' money. It's not your money. But would you spend your own money to do this? Remember that you have commitments to the people of Ascension Parish as well as the purchase or the lease of Lamar Dixon. And greater responsibility and caution should be used when you're making decisions about public funds. Thank you.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second. Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Thomas to close public hearing. Any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passed. The ordinance itself.
I move the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Thomas. Any opposition to the motion?
Hold on. Discussion.
Discussion. Mr. Valentine.
I just want to make a couple of comments. One, Ms. Laurie has done a fine job this whole time. Of course, she's hired to do, and that she did an excellent job. One thing she did make mention in her statement was that the citizens of Ascension Parish spoke. Well, citizens of Ascension Parish didn't speak. This council spoke in our administration. Some of us wanted the people of Ascension Parish to speak with a vote to subsidize this place so that it could be saved for all time. We are in limbo with that. I've already stated philosophically I'm against it, period, and I am. But I was definitely in favor of letting the people of Ascension Parish vote for it and create a tax to subsidize it, if that's what their will would be. She also made the statement that we saved Lamar Dixon. That's how it was presented to us, that we saved it. There are other avenues. We saved it with the mission statement. And if that's what you wanted to do, that's what we did. We saved it with the mission statement. But there are people out there that are willing to buy. There are people out there that are willing to put up a lot of money and make economic development out there that would put people to work and also bring other revenues in this parish. Some that would not even compete with any other businesses in this parish. Some of them wanted to be public, some of them didn't want to be public. My point is I don't want to lose the money. As y'all know, I voted against everything dealing with Lamar Dixon, and I'm going to vote against this too. I'm opposed to putting $1 million out of our budget, whether it be surplus or anything else, because eventually it is going to affect us. And we will have to bite the bullet somewhere down the line In the CSR statement, it said it could not be supported unless there was a tax to support it. And it is not going to support itself. It hasn't supported itself in 3 years. And if we're sitting around here thinking, and look, I hope it does support itself because I don't want to lose the taxpayers' money. I hope it really does because obviously we're going to lease it. So I'm just my opposition again and want to clarify it.
Mr. Shakespeare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For 6 months, we talked about Lamar Dixon, about whether it was viable or not. Then we went to a number of meetings. The administration and people from Lamar Dixon has convinced ourselves, and I think everyone, that Lamar Dixon is a good thing for the parish. And then we spent a lot of time convincing us that it was doable. And I agree with that. I think the majority of this council feels like we need to have the people speak and join us to get a funding mechanism for this thing. I share Mr. Valentine's feeling about funding Lamar Dixon. However, I will not let my feelings for wanting the people to be able to decide if we can help fund it properly get in the way that I think we need to get on board with Lamar Dixon to move forward. What I would like to ask is for the administration to work diligently with, we have a committee on Lamar Dixon, if they want to meet with council members, to try to come up with a definite plan, a funding mechanism that's in a timely manner, that's going to be adequate for the people of Ascension Parish, that we can look forward to adequately fund Lamar Dixon so we can move forward and not worry about the funding on this. And knowing while we're going, as we're doing this, that if we receive federal or state funding, we can stop at that point. And the people do not have to put up any more monies. But I think this is important. I don't think we need to wait 2 years. I think we've been convinced that this is good and we need to move forward with it. And I don't want to lease a house unless I'm definitely going to buy it. And so I would encourage us, administration, to find a way to fund this thing so we can move forward.
Mr. McConnell.
Mr. McConnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at this budget amendment and this allocation of funds as an investment in Ascension Parish. We've made an investment by partnering with the Lamar Dixon Foundation and by taking advantage of a great gift that's been offered to us by Bill and Mary Lee Dixon to continue to provide this world-class facility to our citizens. The option that's in front of us now is a funding mechanism that will operate this facility for 1 year. Mr. Shakespeare's points are taken. This gives us ample opportunity to sit and study and come up with a long-term funding. Unfortunately, right now, we do not have multi-year budgeting as much as we've been trying to do that. But it gives us breathing room, and it allows us to operate Lamar Dixon under this funding mechanism. Parish President Hughes and his administration have found this money in the budget so that these are surplus funds that were not budgeted, and it's because of an upturn in our economy, and so therefore I'm pretty confident that we're not going to have a loss or a cut any additional cut in services to our people. Also, earlier tonight, I heard a very, very encouraging report by Mr. Doug Thornton of the SMG organization of just a few of some really great events that they are already scheduling. They're already out there working on behalf of Lamar Dixon, scheduling new events, talking to people who have previously used the facility, who were perhaps concerned and uncertain about where they were going to go and what they were going to do because they were not sure of the future. Now they are sure of the future, thanks to SMG out there working on its behalf. And so these people are also scheduled to come. And so I'm very encouraged that they will be able to operate the center in a manner and at a level that they had promised or that they had proposed in their presentation. So let's make this investment tonight. Let's follow the recommendation of the administration. Let's make this investment in Ascension Parish, because this is an investment in our infrastructure and our future, and things, I think, will only build around it. I've also spoken to representatives of the administration who tell me that because of this decision we've made, because of that Lamar-Dixon purchase, that other entities, businesses are very interested in moving around there and doing some additional development. And that is economic development. That will bring additional funding in here. This lets us operate Lamar-Dixon. It lets us spend time and intelligently discuss a cohesive plan to put together long-term funding for Lamar-Dixon. But tonight, I think our choice is obvious and it's clear to adopt this budget amendment and let's hit the ground running. Thank you.
Ms. Fontenot.
I agree wholeheartedly, Mr. McConnell. It is an investment into this parish, but it's an investment that the people should have made the decision on. I can't support it, putting the money. I could leave it in general fund and let them use it, but dedicating it, I have a problem with. And I've always been the type of person that wouldn't invest my own money in something that I thought was risky. And at this point in time, I really feel like this is a risk. And so therefore, I can't commit to this, not under the present circumstances. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Well, I thought the people spoke when they elected me and you. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they think they made a mistake. But as I understand, without going to another civics lesson, we have a representative democracy or republic. They've elected us to represent them. We're taking money, and I want the people, I remind our citizens again, of $3.3 million last year. We're only taking $1 million of it for Lamar-Dixon. We still have $2.3 million from last year's budget that moved into this year's budget for emergencies and other things. That is undedicated money. And this budget amendment has nowhere in it the word dedicated. Remind you of the budget process. You can introduce a budget amendment anytime to take money in or out of the budget and move it around within various departments or places within the budget. This is not dedicating this money, because we can't dedicate it. Only the people can dedicate it through a vote. So, number one, the people have spoken. I'm grateful that the people in general understand this situation. Number two, the budget amendment tonight, if you vote for it, is not dedicate the money for Lamar-Dixon. It's transferring $1 million that we saved last year to use on a lease purchase agreement for Lamar-Dixon, still leaving a balance of $2.3 million, in addition to the other millions we anticipate this year that are not budgeted to be used for other purposes, be it roads or wastewater or whatever. And so I just want to make sure that all of us understand that. People are using some terminology that I read this budget amendment many times, and there's nothing in there about dedicating funds. We're transferring to a Lamar-Dixon fund to use it for that purpose, just like we would transfer money into any other fund when we decide to use it for that purpose. Now, contrast that with two dedicated sales districts that we do have, half-cent sales tax dedicated for roads and fire, and half-cent sales tax dedicated for drain. That is dedicated money. We can't use it for other than those purposes that the people specified in that proposition. But the 1 cent general sales tax is not dedicated, nor is your action tonight dedicating it to Lamar-Dixon or any other dedication. You're simply moving it from one place in the parish coffers to another place. So I just wanted to make sure we all understand that. If you got a question about that, Bert or Gwen would be more than happy to answer your question about that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. McConnell, I agree with probably about 98% of what you said, but I do want to take issue or just correct you on one minor item. Part of the reason that surplus is there, sure, we have had a upturn and sales collections are up. And of course, I think I referred to it as a Hughes effect. I had a finance meeting earlier. But I'd also like to credit the administration for putting forth the cuts, and this council also agreeing and working with the administration and agreeing with the cuts, and that's the reason why we have surplus money. So it's just a minor issue, but it's not all economy-based or upturning the economy. So I thank the parish president and the job the administration's doing. Thank you.
I just wanted to correct one thing. It's been said that as elected officials, we represent our people. And that's what I have done here. I take seriously my role in my district. And I've listened to my people that wanted the tax brought to them. That's what they told me in my conversations with them. And I looked at every bit of the information that was brought to me. And I made my decision on the information that I brought. And they elected me to make a decision, and I made a decision on their behalf on the facts. And I just wanted to clarify that so that my people know that I am representing them.
Question on the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Question on the motion. Is there not any opposition? Having none, we'll go to the vote. Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Thompson, to approve the budget amendment, $1 million from the general fund going to Lamar Dixon. Is there any opposition?
Object.
You got Mr. Byrigger.
Roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Roll call. Roll call.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Councilman Fontaine. Councilman Dixon Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Hillensted.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
No.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Councilman McConnell.
Yes.
Councilman Byron.
No, ma'am.
And the chairman votes no. Motion passes. Do I hear?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byron, second by Mr.